Good evening, runners, and welcome back to another video from me, That Running Girl. In today's video, we're going to be talking about getting your foot back in the game post-lockdown, leaving your ego at the door, and pushing yourself into different levels of comfort zones when you've been out of the game for so long because it's been lockdown. So this video is inspired by me getting back into racing, and me and a number of friends of mine, running friends, have all found it quite difficult getting back into racing because there haven't been any proper races on, and it's been quite difficult slash, very difficult to motivate yourself to run at race pace when there hasn't been any proper races on, or if there were races on, they weren't UKA races, and there wasn't maybe a promise of a PB, or there wasn't a promise of a properly documented time on Power of 10 because it might not have had a UKA race certificate. So now that lockdown has lifted and we're back in the kind of racing game, we're back in the racing era, it seems that there are only a certain number of people who are willing to put themselves out there and test their fitness on the racing scene, which I actually find quite not difficult to understand because I love running and I love racing so much. But I definitely find it difficult to respect at times because personally, I think for there to be a race to even go ahead, there has to be a number of different abilities of people turning up, right, to race. If you just had the fastest people entering a race, there wouldn't be a race at all because you have to have a spectrum of different people entering a race for even to be a race in the first place. So I find that quite difficult to get my head around. But also I run for the absolute joy and the absolute passion of running. Racing to me is just a test of myself. It's a test of how I can challenge myself, how I can better myself, how I can achieve something on that day that I didn't maybe think that I could achieve, or achieve something on a longer term, bigger picture perspective that I didn't think I could achieve. Or if I'm feeling competitive on that day, it's a chance to compete against other people that are at my pace and at my fitness level. It's not all about ego and comparing yourself to where you were a few years ago. Now, this leads also into the theme of this video. And by the way, this video is sponsored by shakycameras.com because I am basically balancing my MacBook Air professionally on both knees right now because I'm making this video from my car, surprise, surprise, in a mysterious leafy location in Oxfordshire, because I just thought it's a nice evening. I'll go for a run. I'll then make a video, which is long overdue, as they always are, from my car. And so here I am. So yeah, basically what prompted me to make this video is I turned 35 in April, which means in the UK I went up to a new age category in the racing scene. So I don't know how it's actually done in different countries. I don't know, if you're a runner and you're watching this, I'm not sure how it's done in your country, but in the UK, basically if you're under 35, you are classed as a senior in the senior age category. So when you race, say you win something in a 10k race, or you win something a half marathon, win something in a marathon, you win it under that category of being a senior amateur runner. So for as long as I can remember, because I started running when I was 19, I started racing, I say competitively, I mean, I started racing when I was about 21, 22. So from the age of 21, 22 until the age I am now, 35, I was a senior runner. Which, was effectively the entire portion of my running life. I have been a senior runner and I've won things under the senior category, and all the trophies in my trophy cabinet say senior runner, first senior place, second senior place, third senior place. So cue this year in April when I turned 35, and now I am known as a vet 35. So it's the next category of runners. So this August, at the end of August, I did Headington 5 mile, which is a flat 5 mile race that I've done probably for the last 7 or 8 years. And I was fourth woman out of 82 women overall, and I was second vet 35. So there were prizes at this race for first, second, and third in each age cat. I usually win like a prize in the senior age cat. So I was feeling super old at this race, but also super pleased because it's the first time that I've won a trophy since lockdown, and since entering a race after lockdown, and it's the first time that I've won a trophy in a new age cat, which feels really surreal because it doesn't almost, it feels like I'm on this journey in with running. Running has always been the absolute constant thing in my life, which has always been there for me. And I think I've talked about this in different videos, but in terms of everyone says the only constant in life is change, but the only constant in my life has been running. I mean, in terms of relationships ending, people die, you move house, you change jobs, everything in my life aside from running has changed, aside from maybe my career in terms of what I've done for the last 14 years. But yeah, everything other than that, running has been the only constant to me in life. So when I then move up a different age category, it does very much feel like running is taking on a new chapter in the journey. It's almost like the long run is my life, my life as the long run. When I'm receiving this trophy, almost feels to me like an accomplishment for sticking with it on the journey, if that makes sense. So anyway, without further ado, here is the trophy that I won at the Headington 5 road race. I'm going to just hold it really still for a minute because I think when I do a thumbnail with this for this video, I can probably insert this in the thumbnail because, as we all know, I'm not exactly the slickest at editing, so this is the best you're gonna get. So yeah, here's your thumbnail. Right. So yeah, basically the race went quite well. I hadn't trained specifically for a speed race for a while. Basically, since lockdown, I had entered a few races sporadically. I'd entered proper UKA races as well, but a number of the ones that I've been doing for the past few years had been cancelled. So the Abingdon Marathon, which is Oxfordshire's marathon, the county I live in, that was cancelled. So that would have been this next month in October, cancelled. There an Otmore Challenge, which is an off-road half marathon that I really enjoy doing. That was cancelled. Banbury 15 race, which is a 15-mile road race. I think that's been postponed, but I don't know if it's still going ahead this year. So yeah, I hadn't trained specifically for a speed race. I did Worcester 23 mile in May, which was 23 miles along the canal paths and the road in Worcester. I did Shires and Spires, which is a half marathon in Northamptonshire. I did Headington 5, and I did another one that I can't remember, but I think it was a relatively long run. So yeah, I hadn't trained for a speed race, and I just feel, let's be honest, I just feel as I'm getting older, like I haven't got the speed that I used to have when I was maybe 25, 26, given that I'm 35 now. And so I was pleasantly surprised that I've been doing a lot of gym work as well. I've been doing weights and cross training in the gym for a while, and I'll make another video on this. But I feel that's really helped me in terms of strength work, because I feel like I've always had the endurance for running, but yeah, with strength work in the gym, I really feel like I've got a much stronger core now and a much stronger platform to unleash a bit more power, even if that doesn't translate to speed, if that makes sense. So I also felt like my lungs weren't just burning all hell like they used to in a speed race. In an all-out 5 miler, I would usually be dying, as everyone is, right, in anything under 10k. but I just felt like my body held it together a lot better this time, which I was pleasantly surprised about. Um, there were two women obviously in front of me. My friend Rosanna, if you're watching this, well done, won the race. Um, and two ladies were also in front of me. But aside from that, no one was in front of me. And I think only one woman passed me, like in the whole race. I held my position the whole race, which was quite difficult because the race was quite spread out. And sometimes when it's quite spread out, it just feels a bit like a lonely training run sometimes. But yeah, I was super pleased with how it went. My pace wasn't anything spectacular. I think it was like 7.04 minute mile for the entire race, when a few years ago I'd maybe run 6.4 minute mile for the whole thing. But with speed training that I'm doing, that is coming back. And like I say, I just think it's so important to get your foot back in the game. Just determine where you are, identify that marker of, perceived effort level, identify the kind of paces you're hitting, identify also what goals you want to do in terms of aligning with other stuff in your life. So, for example, none of us are elite athletes, right? We all do running and racing on the side of like jobs. And for me, I've run my own business for the past 9.5 years. So I run and race competitively on the side of that and on the side of nurturing relationships and, other big decisions that you have to make in life in your mid-30s, which is really difficult. So just kind of decide what you want to do in terms of that and just have some fun. Use running as, a celebration of life, basically, and a celebration of everything that your body can do. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that little catch up from me and my first new age cat trophy. I will be back with another video shortly, which I'm not sure what it will be about yet, potentially another review. But I hope you're all running well, and I just wanted to jump on here quick and make a video, tell you I'm all still running, and I'm super pleased with the accomplishment of another trophy to go on my shelf, and like I say, to underline how much passion I still have on the journey of the long run of my running life. And yeah, hope you're all running well, and I will see you in my next video.